Noob review.
Hello and welcome to another noobreview.com retro quick look video, and in case you hadn't guessed from this little disclaimer at the start, we are looking back at Sega's phenomenal game Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, oh look at that loading screen, so good.
Nostalgia is flooding back.
So I take it Mr. Adam Radcliffe and Mr. Kieran Roycroft, you have both played this game before?
Yeah, absolutely. Had it back on the Dreamcast back in the day. Just a wonderful piece of art, more than anything else.
And a must-have for anybody who had a Dreamcast.
Yeah, I mean they don't make games like this anymore, do they?
Well, apart from the one that they're going to release on the Vita, which isn't the re-release.
Yes, they are re-releasing it on Xbox Live Arcade, PlayStation Network, and the PlayStation Vita.
Yay.
So I don't know if that counts as them making games like this anymore, considering they're just like porting it over and re-releasing it.
Yes, I like the cel-shaded art style.
I know. I wish you would make more of a comeback. I mean, the only game recently that I can think that's got it in is The Darkness 2, which is brilliant, might I add. But you don't see it that much. I think games in general kind of went through a bit of a fad with this whole cel-shaded thing. You know, you had 13 on the GameCube, Wind Waker,
Wacky Races.
Yeah.
There were more games than that, but yeah, it was very popular for a time because, you know, Jet Set Radio was so well received.
Yeah.
It may not have been like the world's greatest seller, but it was definitely a very well regarded game.
Yeah.
A cult
and
classic.
I think a lot of developers kind of wanted that kind of prestige rubbing off on them a little bit by going, hey, we look like Jet Set Radio.
Maybe we'll win E3's 2000 best console game.
Yeah, maybe. But I suppose for anyone that's kind of never played this game before, we should actually tell them what it is.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, so basically, Jet Set Radio puts you in the role of a Tokyo futuristic street gang that ride around on rollerblades and spray graffiti while trying to avoid the attention of the police.
It's propaganda graffiti for their radio station.
That's right, yes, their anti-government radio station run by, what was that DJ's name, Professor something or other.
Power to the people.
So what we're looking at here is the graffiti mechanic, where you go up to the the rival gang's logo, and then you spray your own on it. Now, one of the great things about this game is that using the art tool, you could customize your own graffiti.
Yeah, you could custom make the penises you drew on sides of walls. Great feature.
Yeah.
Just had to be done.
Yeah.
Now, I've never been to Tokyo, but if the police are all like that, I'm going to book a flight today.
I've been there and they are not, unfortunately. Sega lied to you.
Well, why not? Haven't they played this game?
Come on, you got to remember, this is future police as well.
Oh, well, they've got to.
Future fascist police.
Speaking of future, do you know if there's any plans to port the sequel, which was Jet Set Radio Future, onto Xbox and Vita as well, or is it just the original?
Just the original as far as I'm aware, but I wouldn't be surprised if this did very well if they re-released
I hope so.
Jet Set Radio
Oh, it's
Future
great
2.
as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was as good as this one. It was still very lovable.
Now, this is one of the things I liked, actually, where you had to try and avoid being beaten up by the police. I think in a minute you'll probably see I'm in the middle of spraying something and a policeman grabs a hold of me and I have to kind of drag him around and try and shake him off.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Some of the levels get really complex and creative later on in the game as well.
Yes, definitely. You had like massive hills you had to climb, and you could do that by hanging on the back of cars.
Oh yeah, forgot all about that. And you could do a lot of tricks as well if you're in like a sewer pipe.
That's right. Yes. Unfortunately, I am not very good at doing the tricks, so I apologise for my mediocre skating skills. Jumping into walls.
There's lots of really great characters as well. I think that's what I love most about the game is unlocking the new characters, seeing what tricks they can do.
That was great as well. And in order to kind of recruit them to your gang, you had to prove how good you were at skating by matching their tricks.
Yeah.
That was a really fun mechanic. And another thing which we've completely ignored is the absolutely amazing soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god.
Well, I was hoping the viewers could actually hear the soundtrack in the background and then they could experience it for themselves. But it is amazing.
It was one of the few soundtracks that I remember going onto the internet, and I've got to download the soundtrack. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and it was a good mix of like original music created in-house at Sega and licensed tracks. In fact, back in the year 2000 when this came out, it wasn't that common for games to have a licensed soundtrack.
Well, I suppose it was only really the Tony Hawk games that had that kind of...
the skate demographic, I guess.
Yeah. And the FIFAs, I suppose.
Yeah.
They've always had like a licensed soundtrack, but nothing like this, which is just crazy.
I can pretty much attest that FIFA 95 did not have a licensed soundtrack on the Mega Drive.
Well, yeah, alright, but...
Yeah, I know what you mean though. I was just being facetious.
I bet it did really, and you just couldn't hear it.
Yeah. All like MIDI music.
Yeah.
I hated that man with the gun. The sheriff, I guess.
Police chief,
Chief
isn't he?
of
He's like
police.
Dirty Harry.
Yeah. I always found it really like unfair that he was shooting at kids for such a minor offence. I mean, I can see how it's annoying. You really have to pull that thing out.
That is like a massive hand cannon as well, isn't it? Of course, you can get your revenge on him if you skate into him really fast. You can knock him over and then tag his back.
Like this.
I tried to do it then, but I was too close to the main piece of graffiti.
What's he doing?
Do you know what? I think if a policeman did that nowadays, he'd be up for in a tribunal, wouldn't he?
I suppose.
Jumping on a little kid like that.
Oh, for sure.
If I saw anybody skating like this in real life,
I'd get my phone out and video them so I could put it on YouTube and get loads of hits.
I think I'd say I think you've been playing too much Jet Set Radio.
Just
Run!
a visual delight.
Yeah, I'm not very good at avoiding the police. It gets a lot harder when you've only got one piece of graffiti to do, because then they all congregate around it.
Yeah.
Let's see what you get! Turbo!
Thank you for playing. Presented by
Noob Review.